Hey everyone, how's it going? Welcome to the Infatuasian Podcast. We are doing a special side dish episode this week because I wanted to squeeze this episode in between two other episodes because we're building up to our 200th episode. But I also wanted to let you know about Amanda's book, How to Break a Girl, and let you know that you can meet Amanda face-to-face in real life at On Waverly Bookstore this Thursday, coming up November 20th. At 4 p.m. So if you have the ability to get over there, go over there. She's going to be in conversation with Ben from United by Rice, and you can get a signed copy, and you can ask Amanda questions and meet her in person. But that is one of the reasons she is here in town, and so we invited her up to the Galileo recording studio. So Amanda's here with us today. So hey, Amanda, how's it going?
Hello, Curtis. Thank you for having me here.
Oh, yeah, my pleasure. I think I saw you on the On Waverly Instagram, and I was like, oh, she's coming to town. Well, we should probably chat.
Yes.
So good to have you here. And we like to greet our guests in the Asian way, and I think I know the answer, but Amanda, have you eaten yet?
Yes, you did tell me to have lunch first, so...
Yeah. You were saying, I think you had a meet. You heard, who did you hear today at On Waverly was...
Jinwoo Park.
Park,
who's also an Asian Canadian writer.
Yeah.
Based in Montreal.
Great. And you were like, well, should we have lunch first or later? I was like, no, definitely have lunch early because I don't get out till after 3 o'clock. So, yeah. So, okay, what'd you have? Did you have a good meal? You stay in Chinatown?
We went to a Mediterranean restaurant.
Oh.
Called... Dunyan, I believe. It's on Polk.
Okay. But you said it's Mediterranean or vegetarian?
Yes.
Yeah, Mediterranean.
Yeah, like Greek/Mediterranean restaurant. Recommend it. It was good.
Yeah. All right. I think I've been there. So yeah, did you walk over here or did you?
No, we drove, a friend of mine.
Okay. Yeah, because we were pretty close to Chinatown, so you weren't too far away.
Yes.
All right. So let's do a proper introduction. Amanda Sung is a first-generation Taiwanese Canadian. You call yourself a satellite kid. I used to hear the term parachute kid.
Mm-hmm.
Is it the same thing?
It's a bit different. Like I would say the concept of a parachute is to purely drop them off while the parents are still on the plane.
Or never even leaving Taiwan or something.
Probably. However, the concept of a satellite means that you're kind of being managed remotely. So in my case, yes, my parents were in Vancouver with me and my sister for a little bit. Okay. And then they went back to Taiwan.
Okay. So Amanda was dropped off and managed... or looked after a little bit in Vancouver. Was that where you ended up?
Yes.
And worked as a copywriter and market strategist for over 15 years. Some of it down here, right? Some of it in the Bay Area?
Yeah. I did live in the Bay Area for about 3 years.
Nice. Mm-hmm. But Canada's home for you?
Well, I would say Vancouver is my first home. Taipei is my second home. However, the Bay Area is my third home. Okay. So I'm very happy to be home.
Nice. And you've written a book called How to Break a Girl, and it's now available on Amazon and selected bookstores. Like I said, you can come down. I'm actually looking at a stack of books right now. You can come down to On Waverly Bookstore on Thursday and grab a copy that you can get signed. So, is it okay if we dig into your roots a little bit?
Yeah, of course.
We just did a little. So, you were born in Taiwan?
Yes.
Taipei City?
Yes.
All right, and I'm guessing... from your book, that childhood was not always rainbows and unicorns. How was it growing up?
I think I was lucky in the sense that I definitely had good education when I was in Taipei. Like my father was very diligent about that. He also made me play the piano when I was 5 years old. I'm grateful to him for forcing me to play that because my sister actually did not end up learning it. And years later, she regrets not learning the piano.
That's how it is. Yeah. So, pretty tiger parenty, like your parents were?
My father was very, very tiger. I mean, like my mom, my mom was too, but not as quote-unquote bad as my father. I remember when I was in elementary school, if I didn't come home with a grade that was 100%, and whatever the difference is, would translate into the number of minutes that I would have to basically get timeout outside of my house. Couldn't get in until I finished those minutes.
Yeah. Oh, man. And so when did you come to Canada?
I was almost 16 at the time.
Okay. Okay, so high school.
Yes. I started grade 10 in Vancouver.
Did you like that move? Were you happy to come to Canada and kind of be on your own a little bit more?
I think at the time I was just not really growing in the school in Taipei, even though I have to point out that during my very last school, when I was in Taipei, I was the number one student for the entire year. I just didn't feel that I was learning or growing into what I had, right, in my vision at that time. Right. So I was happy to come here. However, I obviously didn't expect to end up without parents. So that was certainly like a major curveball.
So they didn't tell you the plan?
No. What happened was my father was a professor in Taiwan, and he was never going to live in Canada.
Because it's hard to get a job here as a professor.
He was never going to have the same socioeconomic status.
Okay.
My mother, however, was a pharmacist who made good money. But by default, the woman was always the caretaker.
Okay.
So she was stationed in Vancouver to look after me and my younger sister, whereas my father was supposed to just visit during the summertime and Lunar New Year's. However, 6 months into our journey into this foreign country, my mom caught my father having an affair. I often joke about how back in 2000, there was no two-factor authentication. And that's why my mother was able to get into the bottom of my father's credit card statements. She fell into deep depression, kind of just collapsed on the floor all day, every day for quite some time. And I was kind of taking over her quote-unquote job, right? I was packing lunch for myself and my sister, but driving us to school. My father found out one day about how I was kind of being a mini mom. Instead of repairing that marriage, my father had the audacity to bring the mistress over to our house in Vancouver.
Okay.
Yeah, and the five of us were living together.
This sounds familiar. We'll talk about the book in a second. Yeah. But you get into college. What were you thinking of doing in college or with your college education?
I think the reason that I went into studying communication for my undergrad was because my parents were hoping that I would one day become an anchor woman in Taiwan.
Oh, okay.
I think during that time period, if you were an anchor woman in Taiwan, the chances of you marrying rich automatically increased. So that was what happened. But I think after I got my degree, I worked in the publishing house in Vancouver, so I went into journalism after that. Okay.
And was that kind of not, maybe you weren't necessarily writing at this time, but were you thinking you'd be a novelist someday? Was that?
No. I remember between the first year and the second year of my grad school, we all had to do an internship during the summer. I actually found a job and got an offer from this TV station called Channel K, Knowledge Network.
Okay.
However, the director of the school at the time had already found me a job. She had arranged me to work for one of her friends who was the CEO of Family Services of Greater Vancouver. It was a nonprofit social services agency. So I was kind of at the crossroad. But I guess as an Asian girl growing up, I mean, we were brought up to, of course, always respect and follow the elders, especially someone that's your teacher, right? So I did that. And then that just kind of started my career in marketing, communications, and PR. So I just never quite went into journalism.
Okay. So I think I've heard you say that How to Break a Girl kind of started as your master's thesis.
Yes.
That was so that was grad school. So you were 20 something.
Yeah, 20, I think 23, 24.
Yeah.
I was a baby at the time.
Yeah. Did you have the bones of this, or is this kind of something that's been written for the last 10, 15 years?
So I was actually invited to write a memoir as my thesis. There was only like one quota every year.
Okay.
I was very blessed to be handpicked for that.
Okay.
And the thesis at the time primarily revolved around how I became a satellite child, which was, the story that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
It's all because that there was no two-factor authentication at the time.
Yeah. Okay. So you started working on this. Would you also say that this is when you kind of met your friends that might have influenced this book as well, or is this mostly based on your own life?
The novel is primarily based on my life, and I distributed a lot of my lived experiences among 3 protagonists to make the stories more relatable. So the girls were born in Hong Kong, Taiwan, and Korea. That is quite representative of basically the Asian populations in Greater Vancouver.
Yeah. Is there kind of a blurry line between memoir and fiction? Like you mentioned something just now about your mom on the floor, and that makes it into the novel. And
Yes.
This character's dad, has the affair. How do you navigate that from switching from a memoir to fiction? Is there ever a moment you think to yourself, "Wow, I probably shouldn't write this," or?
Oh, I mean, there were a lot of things that I had to really skip because of just how brutal that they were. My mother knows that she's in the book. She is proud of me for telling our story.
Yeah.
My younger sister, however, did not want to be in the book, which means that she's not.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, let's talk about How to Break a Girl. This is a blurb I read, and you can add to this if you want. So what you say here on your website is, think Sex and the City if Carrie, Miranda, and Charlotte and Samantha were Asian Canadian immigrants, navigating not just love and career, but complexities of intergenerational baggage, cultural curveballs, and all the gendered nonsense the world throws at them. This isn't a sob story. It's the sisterhood and sass you love with a sharper edge and a deeper heart. You wanna add to it at all?
When I said gendered nonsenses, I was being very subtle. I suppose this is a time when we should do the disclaimer.
Okay, yeah. You warned me, said it's not a warm and fuzzy read, and you said that we might want to give a trigger warning. There's definitely episodes of sexual assault and violence against women, amongst other things. So audience out there, we may talk about it, but you also, if you read the book, just know going in that these things are in the book. So let's see. Should we talk about your main characters here?
Sure. I mean, there are 3 of them. Which one should we start with?
So there's Lily, who is a Taiwanese Canadian.
Yes.
Who is a writer.
Yes.
So you might be able to extract what you want from there. Basically, I think her job in the book is mostly technical writer or copywriter.
Yeah, she was a technical writer when she came to Silicon Valley on TM visa as a Canadian at the time. That was also the category of my work visa when I came down here at the time.
Okay, so she's one of the main characters. And then there's Aurora, who is Chinese and born in Hong Kong. It's interesting that you're Taiwanese, but you threw in some Cantonese into the book a little bit.
I mean,
when you grew up in Vancouver, I guess.
Yeah, growing up in Vancouver, obviously, you would know tons of immigrants from Hong Kong.
And what's Aurora's actual job? She's corporate something.
She started out as like PR, Marcom, marketing, external relations. So that's very much aligned with my own career track.
Okay, all right. And then Elizabeth Park, Korean Canadian. I don't remember. Does she have a job? I don't remember her job. Or is she?
I've actually made her job very, very ambiguous.
Okay. Yeah. So you'll meet her right away, and she's ending up getting married right away.
Yes.
in this one. And so 3 best friends, the ride or dies, as you would call it. They know each other better than maybe they even know themselves sometimes. What did you base this on? No real life friendships that you drew upon, or this is just kind of something in your head that came out of these 3?
When I was growing up, I had far more guy friends than girlfriends.
Okay.
I didn't quite start having girlfriends until perhaps 2 years ago when I moved back to Vancouver.
Okay. So these are the girlfriends you wish you had going through all this stuff.
You know what? I think come to think of it, yeah, probably.
Okay. All right. And so this timeline, I was trying to think of so there's a couple things along the way. We had the pandemic towards the end. And then we have kind of grad school graduation in the beginning. So are we looking at a timeline about 15 years or so? Or what kind of timeline are we looking at?
I think realistically, the entire book spanned from perhaps 6 years.
Oh, okay. So not as long as I'm thinking.
No, because otherwise that would have been maybe a sequel.
So these women are in their 30s? Is that kind of what we're thinking?
Yeah, like early to mid 30s.
Career, yeah, okay. So career women, not young, not college kids, but they're a little older, have a little bit of work experience, a little bit of life, and we see them over 6 years. Okay, so that's the timeline. Was that about the timeline on the novel as well, or how long have you been working on the novel?
If we don't count the time that I produced my thesis, right, back in the day when I was 23 years old, the entire writing process probably took about 19 months.
Okay, so not super long.
Yeah, I had like my corporate job back in the days in the beginning, and I would have to write my manuscript either 5 to 9 or on the weekends.
Yeah, okay. Now, these young women have lots of journeys, ups and downs, most of it related to relationships. So we got to talk about the men a little bit. There are a few with some redemptive qualities, but a lot of them are not so great. And again, I know this is fiction, but are there some people in the world that might be surprised that they're in a book?
Well, I think as far as I know, 2 of the male characters in the book know that they're in the book.
Okay.
The rest did not. However, I actually do have guy friends that asked if they could be in the book.
Okay, put me in. All right. You know what I will say, though? I was happy to see Asian men as romantic interests, love interest, which, even though I would say the majority of Asian American, Asian Canadian writers are women, a lot of the love interests are not. And you know this, right? If you read any Asian American literature, Asian Canadian literature. So even though they are not perfect men by any stretch of the imagination, I was happy to see them in there. You know, it's better. I feel like it's better to be in there and, you know, with their flaws and with some ugliness than to be invisible.
On this note, I will share with you some of the comments that I got from Asian American subreddit on Reddit.
Okay.
When I shared about my book in the subreddit, a lot of Asian men actually came after me, saying how they rather be portrayed, let's say, in Jenny Han's work, to be erased rather than being portrayed as the way that I portrayed the men in the book. However, I did clarify that every single man that you come across in the book is based on a real human being. So it's not so much of a So it's not so much of a portrayal.
Yeah.
It is basically a way to fictionalize and reimagine experiences that I, as an author, had. And then 2 of them actually backed down.
Yeah, no, I guess I'm on the other side of that. I feel, especially knowing now, or I was kind of assuming that they were real people in one way or another, in one form, or maybe, of course, fictionalized. But I was happy to see that they're in there at least, because...
Yeah, no, I'd agree with you, and I do want to thank the Redditors on the Asian American subreddit to inspire me to actually consider writing my sequel featuring 3 Asian men.
Okay.
Because there's no book like this out there.
Yeah. There really isn't.
And they are just going to be as flawed as everybody is. There's no such thing as a white man that's a savior.
Yeah.
And just to look at the very differences between the upbringing, between an Asian man and Asian woman.
Yeah.
That definitely would have shaped so many Asian men around us in the way that I don't think mainstream society knows anything about.
No, I agree. Because I think we're at the point now, hopefully just beginning, that we're starting to see stories. Like, for example, did you see the movie Joyride with Ashley Park?
I was actually watching that on Netflix last night. I didn't finish it, though.
Okay, yeah. It's a different take, right? It's like an Asian American or Asian American women in a light that I bet a lot of people haven't seen. It's a little raunchy. It's, not necessarily everyone's bag, but I think that is good that we have these voices so that there's more than this, just the mono. Like right now we're sitting in a high school and, the stereotype is that Asian women or Asian girls are quiet and smart and don't cause any trouble and don't get out a whole lot. But that's not true for all Asian. You can't just say that's the Asian American experience. And so the fact that you wrote this, especially semi-historical or semi-autobiographical, it shows that there are other sides to the Asian American and Asian Canadian experience.
Yeah, I'd agree. A lot of us are deeply flawed, and yet very resilient.
Yeah,
and I don't think that kind of story gets a lot of a spotlight.
Yeah. And as I was reading it, there's a lot of moments where I, as a reader, and I think even the friends in the book, notice these red flags. They're like, no, don't do this. This is a terrible idea. And I'm wondering now, as you're reflecting back, or as you were writing this, was that something that was really not obvious to you at the time at all? Or did you wish you had people pointing it out to you? Like, how do you navigate that? And I'm speaking, I guess, in real life. How would you navigate that if one of your best friends was going down a road that just wasn't great?
I think a lot of us have to go through what we have gone through, really, to become who we are today.
True.
But then at the same time, I wanted it to convey this message that some of us have been through traumas when we were young, and all those experiences would have really shaped us in a way that isn't very ideal. Or in psychology, we call it, right, like the maladaptive behavior that end up showing up as we age. And I just really hope that the readers could be more empathetic towards anyone that they've come across in the future that, for example, just like the girls in the book, kind of just bring certain things about themselves or just don't know what the healthy relationship looks like because they've never really had a role model, right, that has showed them that.
Yeah. All right. So I think one of the fun things about this book and one of the characters of the book are all the locations. So you were talking about hoping that someday the options get picked up for maybe a TV show or a movie. You've increased the budget by by lots of money. By where do we go? We go to Taipei. We're in Hong Kong. We're in Seoul, Vancouver, Toronto, Montreal for a minute, Bay Area, LA. Did I miss any? There's some travel. There's a lot of flying.
There's a place in Quebec called Tremblant.
Oh yeah,
it's a beautiful,
famous for skiing, right?
Yes.
Yeah, actually, it's fun. I just went to Toronto, Montreal, and Quebec City this summer. Love it up there. I think it's great. I don't know about the winters, but in the summer, yeah, it's cool. And the Asian food in Toronto. Now, you've been to both Vancouver and Toronto. Which would you say?
Well, Vancouver, hands down. Like Toronto's food cannot compare. Sorry.
Really? Okay.
Asian food specifically. However, Toronto has amazing Mediterranean food.
Yeah.
Which is lacking quite a bit in Vancouver.
Toronto may be more cosmopolitan in terms of all different culture. But Vancouver, for dim sum, Vancouver,
Sushi.
Richmond, sushi, yeah. But so are you a traveler yourself? Do you love exploring and being in different cities? And
I used to travel a lot more, but I think the pandemic has definitely kind of slowed down.
yeah,
I have lived in 6 cities and 3 countries.
okay, yeah, that's a good amount. And still checking more off the list, I'm sure.
Yes.
Did you have an audience in mind when you wrote this book? Were you thinking of someone or a group of people in general to promote this book to?
I think in the beginning, I was envisioning Asian immigrant women in North America or in Australia and the
Yeah.
UK, perhaps. However, it turned out that quite a few non-Asian women who have read the book and really felt that they saw themselves on some of the pages.
I could see that. Yeah. But yeah, it seems like maybe big city, especially corporate or techie girls, might be a prime audience for this. Yeah, I'm just happy to see it. I'm happy to see Asian Canadian voice out there. It's just nice to see a different perspective, maybe one that some people haven't seen. Did you feel like that was a major impetus for writing the book, that you didn't see yourself in any books growing up or even currently?
I think a lot of times, if you ask anybody what's the most memorable Asian fiction that they have come across, chances are the answer is going to be mostly Joy Luck Club.
Right.
However, that's 35 years ago.
Yeah.
Like, we don't live the way that they did anymore. And I think it's important to represent that refreshed representation of who we are.
Yeah.
And on top of that, I mean, there really isn't a lot of representation of Asian Canadian.
Yeah.
And, I mean, sure, I loved Kin Convenience and I love Simu Liu.
It's very specific.
Very specific.
Yeah.
And having lived in both Canada and the US, I do have to say that Asians are treated and perceived quite differently between the two countries. Even though technically we look the same and speak the same languages, like our experiences growing up as Asian in Canada and in the US are very different.
Do you have an example of that? I'd never heard that before.
I feel in the US, whenever we think of the terms such as diversity or inclusiveness, the demographics that pop up in our heads normally are African American or Hispanic.
Okay.
However, in Canada, we just don't have that much populations as the US would, right? In Canada, most of the time, when we say diversity, it's always by default Asian and also Indigenous.
But definitely more Indigenous population.
And because of that, the way that we are portrayed in a lot of things, and whether or not that there has to be, for example, a museum or so to dedicate to Asian populations and their history, and also just how the policies, right, might be made and who is going to be in the office. For example, Vancouver's got a Chinese mayor who was born in Canada.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, and so that's why I really wanted to bring more representation of Asian Canadians, and hopefully that could be a bridge to connect, right, the Asian Canadians and Asian American, and hopefully that there's a way that any Asian American growing up that just never had experience the same as an Asian Canadian, that could, and there could be a bit of a healing collectively for both.
Yeah, that's interesting. I've never heard anyone articulate it, that there's a difference. I have one cousin, well, my mom's cousin's kid grew up in Toronto, but I didn't interact with them very much, and I'm curious how their experiences might have been different.
It depends on which part of Toronto. Like Toronto downtown, actually, like there aren't that many, I guess, like East Asian
Okay.
I remember there were so many times when I was in Toronto going to dinner with the real life Hunter in the book.
Okay. Okay.
And we would look at each other and be like, hey, we're the
We're
only
the
Asian.
only
Yeah,
ones,
because he also spent some time in Vancouver. So
Okay.
we know the differences.
You're aware. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. I think also the Asian population in Canada is a little more recent versus like you were just in Chinatown today. That has been around since the 1800s, you know, like there's like I'm fifth generation on one side of my family, and I don't know of a lot of Canadians that are fourth, fifth generation, and it's a little more recent immigrant
Yeah,
history.
I would say like fourth and fifth might be a little bit tough. But but I do
Second for
know,
sure, yeah.
but I do know quite a few friends, especially from Vancouver Island in BC.
Uh-huh.
They are third generation. There are quite a few of those, yeah.
Yeah, so maybe a little more recent. And then, of course, in the 80s, I think it really, a lot of Asians came over from Hong Kong. All right. Well, this is a fun book. I think, like I said, it's something for someone who likes reading about friendships, like reading about relationships, failed relationships, the struggle of being a woman, struggle of being an Asian woman. How's the reception been so far?
I've been very grateful to everyone that has come out to my events, everyone that has left me glowing reviews on Goodreads.
Uh-huh.
I'm currently rated at 4.88
Okay.
on Goodreads.
Okay, yeah.
Very grateful to all of them. And I just really hope that anybody who wants to see more of a raw, authentic fiction, literary fiction that really features just real people, and how flawed we are, and then just how we witness our lives kind of shatter in front of us, but then we rebuild again.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I love it. All right. Everyone out there, you can get a copy of How to Break a Girl on Amazon, or come down to On Waverly on Thursday and say hello. I'll try to make it. I'll probably get there for the end of it, but I'll try to come by and say hello. Besides more book stuff, what's on tap for you? You got anything coming up?
On November 29th, back in Vancouver, however, where I live.
Back up north.
Yeah. I'm having an event at my girlfriend's coffee shop.
Oh, nice.
So we're both Chinese immigrants in Vancouver.
Uh-huh.
So we're just going to support each other to bring more awareness of just how this generation of the Asian women, are kind of I guess like a boss queens.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Okay. So if you happen to be in Vancouver, November 29th, towards the end of the month, what's the name of the coffee shop?
The coffee shop is called Fresh Press.
Fresh Press.
And the location that I'm going to be at is on Number 3 Road in Cook.
All right. And I also heard something else about you. I heard that you are doing some more training into counseling. Are you looking at a career change?
Yes, I am in counseling school full-time.
Uh-huh.
I should be on track to get my credentials by summer 2026.
All right.
I'm just really hoping that I could utilize my own experiences and how I recover, how I grow from my own past, and hopefully pay that forward.
Yeah.
Especially for the previous generation and our generation, because I think there's so much intergenerational baggage that remains unpacked.
Yeah.
And we, and our parents, hopefully that they're willing to take a chance, right, on reconciling this life with us.
Yeah. I get the feeling that you got more chapters in you. You've got a lot more chapters to write. So huge congratulations on the book.
Thank you.
Wish you the best of luck with everything.
Thank you.
Everyone out there, I told you how you can get the book, but you can also write to us at infatuasianpodcast@gmail.com, or follow us on Instagram at infatuasianpodcast. What was your Instagram?
Amanda Sung.
Amanda Sung. Easy.
Yeah.
Follow Amanda on Instagram. Amanda, thank you so much for coming up to the Galileo recording studio.
Thank you for having me.
No, it's been a pleasure. And we usually end by wishing people to be happy, healthy, and safe. But I've been replacing the last word with a word of your choice. So when I get to it, if I point to you, can you come up with a word? I'm going to say happy, healthy, and you come up with one. All right?
Yes, but it's not going to be an easily understood word because as a writer, I'm just always giving people trouble.
All right, let's do
Hey,
it.
let's do it. Yeah.
So please follow us wherever you get your podcasts. I would appreciate any ratings you can give us at Apple or Spotify. And so until we talk to you again, on behalf of Amanda and myself, we hope that you're all happy, healthy, and
Self-actualizing.
self-actualizing. Thanks again for listening, everyone, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye. All right.
I know. Like, I thought about what I was going to say. I'm like, no, it's going to be self-actualizing.